Thank you.
It'd be welcome to Upper Creek with 2 paddles. I'm Austin.
And I'm Blake.
That just feels weird. I don't like it.
No, we don't have to.
I don't like it. I
We
don't
can do
like
it
it.
sometimes. We can do it not sometimes. It's not.
Well, anyway, I might keep that in. That might be funny. That might be a funny start. But yeah, it's welcome to another episode.
Are we starting?
Yes, this is the official start. God. Episode 8.
Man.
Episode 8. So we've officially
We're starting this week with a heavy heart.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers to all the people in Maui and Hawaii in general. I'm gonna stumble over my words a lot. I'm getting hit hard with this. Like it's actually been rough paying attention to the news because Quinn, who we've referenced probably every episode, lives in Hawaii, and he actually lives in Maui, in Kihei, and he lives. He used to work in Lahaina, which is the place that's just leveled. The school he worked at, I believe, is completely burned to the ground, and it's intense.
God, like how can you can't even understand that? Like me sitting here, I can't even understand the way that feels.
No, I can't. I can't like. And to do the footage, the landscape right now over there is insane. It's so wild. The stories of everybody, like.
Dude, read what he sent. Read what he sent to you.
So Quinn wanted me to read this on the podcast, and I'm going to try and do it justice. What happened is awful. Many are dead, many more lost homes and businesses, but the city of Lahaina and Maui as a whole has the strongest and most compassionate community I've ever seen. The humanitarian aid effort happening right now is incredible. There are dozens of businesses offering their services for free to the Lahaina evacuees. People are buying grocery store shelves empty just to donate the goods to the shelters. So many of the tourists that come here think the most beautiful thing about this place is the scenery. That's what I thought when I moved here. They're wrong. I was wrong. It's always been the community. There's a willingness to help each other that's unheard of anywhere else. I hope I never forget the values I've learned here and that I can instill them into my daughter too. Yeah, it's wild. The deadliest fire in modern U.S. history. And the death toll is just rising and rising. It's wild.
I think evacuation on, the continental United States or the contiguous United States is so much easier than it is there.
There's so many. Yeah, you can leave.
You know what I mean?
There's more room. Like, you can't just get off the island.
God.
It's wild. And like I was saying earlier, like I feel oddly, I guess not oddly, I feel so connected to the story right now with Quinn being so close, and he's getting hit hard with it because he worked in Lahaina. He was a school teacher in Lahaina, and all of the families of the kids he taught, he has no clue of any of their safety, and he really got to know and love a lot of those kids. That's heavy, man. That's heavy.
It's like all your loved ones put in danger just like that, and it's like, man, you have to, and that's what he was talking about, living there. Those people, what it takes to live there, you have to have an integral community to to make that work and to rebuild. God.
Yeah, the Hawaiian people are wonderful people from every account I've ever heard. It's, man, like, yeah, it's fucking heart-wrenching. It is intense.
It's a life that's hard for us to understand.
Yeah.
Because, man, that's living right there on the water with, tens of thousands of feet above you, a volcano.
Right.
It's, man.
Oh, man. It's hard to fathom. It's hard to put yourself in their shoes right now.
And then the fires, God.
Like so many people, 2,200 damaged structures, and most of those 2,200 are completely unrecoverable. I mean, homes, businesses completely leveled. The whole fucking city.
But here's the thing. Here's what humans will do. They will not stop. They won't stop. And they'll, even though it's terrible right now,
Mic a little closer.
even though it's terrible right now, it'll, oh man, hopefully, they can find a way together to make it through it and just to have each other's backs and help your neighbor. And I'm sure those are all the things that are getting them through this right now. And that's the stuff that you should hold dear all the time. But like really, when something happens like that, it kind of like
Yeah.
You have to really focus on it because you have to lean on each other.
It blows me away how it felt like it took so long to hit mainstream, like major news. Like I felt like I heard about it before I saw any news on anywhere about it because of Quinn, obviously.
Right.
And then like as soon as Quinn told me, like the next day, I started seeing news about it. Like I don't know.
You know what's terrible?
I mean, maybe I'm just not paying attention.
Because we both are close to someone who lives there and are getting this and like haven't kind of seen it from a friend's perspective. Yeah. Like not like what is the percentage of people all around even the United States that are United States citizens that aren't even thinking about it? It's not even on their radar.
And it's crazy because not only do we have a friend that lives in Hawaii, not only do we have a friend that lives in Maui, we have a friend that literally drove to that fucking town every single day and taught the students of that town, taught that community, and now he's having to see it completely ravaged.
Man,
it is. It's insane. It's so hard to.
And just any loss of life like that is just absolutely devastating. Like that is, you know what I mean? Just to imagine that is anyone close to you is just, God, that's so terrible. So you have to pray for. That's all you can do is pray for those people.
Absolutely, and I fucking love Quinn. That man's my best friend. I talk to him every day, almost, and. Ooh, it's tough. It has been like the whole time I was watching the news this morning, I just had chills. Like just it really got to me.
That imagery is crazy.
It's insane, man.
That
imagery is crazy. Well, I don't want to just brush off this topic, but
Dude, I mean, but think about like it's not just in Hawaii that this is happening. Like, all over the world.
Yeah.
We
just got a really close glimpse.
Like look at Canada right now. We've been dealing with that fire, the great orange smoke that came over New York City and the East Coast.
Yeah, man.
We were affected by it here.
It's all the way down in South Carolina. It was hazy as hell outside.
Dude, you couldn't see shit. It was like I went outside one day and I was like, Jesus Christ, are we experiencing smog right now?
It was insane.
And like that's not something that like in Colombia that I even really. Like, it's usually pretty clear unless it's cloudy and overcast, right?
Right.
It's like not even on a sunny day, it's like smoggy and hazy. It's not like that in Colombia. So when it was like pretty thick air, it was like gray. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I learned about the storms in Canada, and I was like, wait. How many acres are burning? How many?
That was insane.
How many acres are burning? It's like, what in the fuck is going on? And then now in Hawaii, Europe, it's like all over the fucking. It's crazy as shit.
It's just gonna get worse.
Like
we're seeing,
we have no understanding of it at all.
Well, in my opinion, I believe we're beginning to see the major effects of what we've done to the climate.
How much do you
think that's a big factor in it, man?
Yeah, but it's impossible. It's impossible to know how much of an impact we have. Of course, it's so hard to know. We have so small a perspective. It's crazy. So it's like, how are we even gonna?
Yeah.
But God.
Hope,
man. Jeez.
Moving on from that, because we were intentionally wanting to keep this episode a little lighter after last week,
dude.
But we couldn't go without talking about that at all.
Hell no, dude. God, those are Americans, dude. You know what I mean? Through and through, they represent the American spirit as well as anybody.
Yeah.
So like for sure, we should think about them. Like God.
Oh man, but we got new microphones, so hopefully I've got the audio kind of dialed in. It took a long time, and excuse us if we're a little bit more, I don't know, you hear a little bit more of the sounds of our voices and mouths.
Getting used to these mics.
Yeah.
The mic. No, these are dope, dude.
I like them a lot.
I like these, bro.
And they're super versatile for music. Yeah. They are like You're just fucking good for everything.
What should I sing? Tell me. Just tell me something right now. Ooh. Okay, wait. I'm just kidding.
Don't be loud either, because I tried to get them to where if we do get a little loud and we back up a little, we're not going to peek it out. But
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away.
Dedicated to the lovely people of Hawaii.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, too soon. I don't know if that was really a joke, but
oh, God.
yeah.
That's so heavy, man. That's so heavy.
So, what? You said you had some topics you wrote down today.
Sure. Let me. Let me just. I don't even know. I sounded like a blundering idiot last week when I was talking about different substances having different melting points and different boiling points.
Right.
Right. Or different smoke points. But we can expect, there are exceptions, but we can expect normally that if something has a higher melting point, it is also going to have a higher smoke point. Compared to something that would have a lower melting point, it's pretty much uniform that if that kind of symmetry is going to be the same. Like you're gonna have a lower So if you have something that's solid at room temperature, and then something that's liquid at room temperature, obviously, right there, this has a higher melting point. Therefore, it will have a higher smoke point. Right. Just like coconut oil or even tallow or butter. Those things can withstand higher temperatures without becoming they degraded before they degrade, right?
It's funny.
And before they start to smoke.
Listening back to your conversations. Yeah. How every single thing we talk about, I'm like, damn, I should have said that. Damn, I should have said that. Like in the moment, there's so many thoughts you don't have.
Man, even for just yourself, just to like flesh that out in your head, like say it one time, like, man, that made no sense. Right. That was idiotic of me to say. Yeah. Bear with me here,
Right, for sure.
And I think that's what people are doing all the time. We're just not willing to accept it. You know what I mean? Like science. That's what science is. Science, the scientific process has proved me wrong. Right? You're always trying to, create a null hypothesis, or you know what I mean? So it's like you're constantly trying to add to the puzzle, right? Instead of like I don't know.
Like you have such a odd, weird view on science. Me and Quinn have talked about this. Every time we bring up science, you act like it's almost like a cult or something. Like you have such a weird view on science.
It is.
You have such a no. It's not. It can be practiced by all people all the time. Sure. You are a scientist.
No.
Yes. You deal with data.
I'm a musician.
You are, dude.
No, okay, in my job, I'm a scientist.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. You literally have. Masters?
Absolutely.
In organic chemistry?
And I see it from the inside. Just like there.
What I'm saying is you're focusing on all of the scientists that have that view. What about all the other ones that are just like you? Right. That's what I'm trying to point out. You're forgetting so many. Science is not...
It's constantly
That's what Graham Hancock is constantly saying. Right. Is like everybody has a part to play in science.
Sure. Exactly.
Just because there's certain academies.
I love science. Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. What I was saying, when you say go out to prove something wrong, that's what science is about. You create an idea and you try to prove it wrong. So when you do that, you have something that you can't figure out, and all the great scientific questions are something that you can't figure out, and it's just beyond your grasp, but you're going to get it, right? That's what it is. So you paint an idea, and you try to prove it wrong. So when you do this, you have two camps, right? You kind of, and that's what I guess just like politics almost, just like politics, and you start shooting paper arrows at each other, just like I was talking about. So it's not the institution, like it's not the method of science. Of course, I'm a scientist. Like if I experience cause and effect all the time, and I apply it to my life. Like I'm not gonna say hit my foot with a hammer. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like,
but I'm saying even not. Just even within your job,
paper arrows. all the time. Paper arrow.
I don't understand why you describe the communication of data as shooting paper
It's
arrows.
letters back and forth.
Well,
When you
that's all communication.
Right.
There is no other.
It's just a silly take, dude.
I know, but it's just
a silly little tag.
I mean, I get what you're going for.
It's just a little
but
tag.
like, it's just funny how almost every time we get into the talk of science, you get into this like almost like
defensive.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Because no, it's not, because science is used against people. It is.
Everything is used against people. Science is also used. Science is what has gotten us this far.
Right.
Science is used to fucking help people a hell of a lot more than it's used to hurt people.
Listen,
I just feel like you're very...
I believe all those things. But if you start to get the perspective that something is all righteous on this earth, you're misguided.
Well, I'm not saying that either. But I feel like you're almost more narrowly focused on the negatives of it.
Maybe.
When I think
Possibly.
It's like you're comparing it to politics.
I
believe in politics there is absolutely more negatives than positives. But in science, I fully believe there's more positives than negatives. I mean, dude, medications, all of the technology we have ever experienced and created.
Yes.
The fucking microphones we're talking into right now, it's all came from science.
Absolutely. But look where trust the medicine. Look where trust the food.
No,
look where
I
that
agree
thought
with that.
process
but I don't
has
think
gotten.
that
and
has
that
not.
was the science of the time. The whole point of science.
That was lobbyists.
Is to constantly improve.
That was lobbyists who encouraged the government
to pay scientists to make fake studies.
Yeah, but it's the scientists are just people and they are corruptible. But at the end of the day, the people who were pushing that bad science were the money-hungry assholes.
Yes.
That's my whole point, is of course it can be corrupted.
Yeah.
We're mere mortals. But the majority of it's used for good. I think your view of science is extremely pessimistic.
Maybe that's just the fault of the times that I live in.
That's true. We're shoved down our face constantly. How bad
the perspective I think you're saying is that instead of having this pessimistic perspective, stop being a bitch and stop feeling like you're a victim and actually take up your role as a scientist in the community. And forward the thinking.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Forward.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Because that's kind of what I'm doing, right? I'm kind of like, oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
Kind of simple. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, you're not that dramatic with it. Obviously. Right. I mean, and you do focus a lot on the good. But, yeah, I think overall, your view on science is very pessimistic, at least every time we talk about it.
Yeah. And maybe,
just focus on the good.
Maybe it's the way we're exposed to science, too.
Maybe it's the way you're exposed to science.
Maybe.
Because I don't have that view.
Interesting.
And Quinn doesn't have that view. But.
And even when I was in school, right, our funding was for projects that made money.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Like, science is driven by necessity and the ability to produce money.
The flaw is within the workings. The flaw is within the workings of our economy, not within science.
Right. That's
capitalism.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. Like, you have to be free, but then, like, you also. So what I was thinking about healthcare, right? Like, in Canada, they have a healthcare system where everything has a set cost. And doctors, I'm a Canadian lawyer, if you didn't know. So anyway, I think I think basically all of the cost of the procedures are set, and the amount that the government pays to doctors for a certain procedure is set, no matter who you are. Like, even if you're the best fucking doctor, right? You work in the most extreme conditions. You're working more hours than anybody. You can still, I think, make more money because you're doing more procedures, maybe. Like, you get paid per procedure. But, like, that's set. So, like, even if you're the best, like in America, if you're the best fucking plastic surgeon in LA, you can pretty much charge whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Like, you can make ungodly amounts of money being a doctor in the United States. So, like, you have to have that because you have to because if you're the best fucking doctor of plastic surgery, there's also a best fucking heart surgeon.
Yeah.
Or the best fucking
And
neurosurgeon. And they should also be able to charge what they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if they're the fucking best, maybe they need to get the most extreme cases. And the way that happens is, you know?
Right.
So you have to let those people operate.
I get that point.
You also have to maintain a certain baseline at the bottom for the people that become disenfranchised.
That's the biggest issue. Issue.
So you kind of have to have a dualism in the way you think. Like, you have to allow a free market to happen, but you also have to sort of account for these people who aren't able to take care of themselves because they just...
Because I don't remember the percentage, but I think it's like 70% of Americans are like one decent like medical emergency away from being completely bankrupt.
It's like 90% of the population, 80% of the population, maybe.
It's insane, and they're doing nothing to help us. They're doing nothing to help us. That's why
weird.
I like that song that just blew up by Oliver Anthony.
God, that song is so intense.
Such a good song. It's such a good song.
He just hits the nail right on the head with that motherfucker.
I don't know anything about him. This is the first I've ever heard of him, so I'm not speaking on him as a person. I have no clue his background or but that song is a beautiful poem.
God,
I mean, it is
so... Dude, and he sings it with so much soul.
His voice is amazing.
How old is he, dude?
I don't know. But he's like Tyler Childers smoked 5 packs a day for his whole life.
Jeez.
It's basically what that dude's voice sounds like. I love that type of vocal.
Such a... What is it with the gingers from Appalachia, dude? Like,
they can sing, man. They can
going on?
Them ginger folk from Appalachia are talented, boy.
You ever been to Kentucky? I'm just kidding. Jesus, that song is good as fuck.
It's so good. It's so accurate.
Jesus. Man, but that Bourbon Trail, holy shit.
And them gingers in Virginia,
that's something.
They got talent.
Me and you should do that one day, like a Bourbon Trail.
That'd be really fun, dude. I'd love to go to Kentucky and visit a couple distilleries.
They got a couple beautiful natural spots, too, like Mammoth Cave.
I've been to Mammoth Cave.
Oh, on Teens West Brown?
No. Me, Quinn, and Shamik went to Mammoth Cave on our way to Ohio to go to Elk Lake.
Dude, you know there's underwater rivers there?
It's, I believe, the longest cave system in North America.
Crazy.
Well, longest discovered.
It's created by water.
I believe so. I don't remember. I was like, dude, that was probably like 10th grade.
So this is something that I've been thinking about because of my job, basically. So we pull groundwater with wells. That's what wells do. We pump water from the subsurface. And water is what they call incompressible. It's an incompressible fluid.
Yeah.
So basically, it kind of saturates dirt and makes it kind of like puff up, kind of. And some dirt's weird, and there's a lot of variety to dirt, and I'm not going to get into that, but generally, it kind of like puffs stuff up and makes it expand. So like, as we've been pumping water from the earth to, basically water Kansas and Nebraska and South Dakota and Iowa and Illinois and Ohio.
Yeah.
They've lost like 40 to 50 feet of elevation in the last like 100 years.
That's wild. Where is this?
Our entire Midwest, around the Mississippi Valley, basically.
That's insane.
And obviously,
are there a lot of sinkholes?
Some places are worse than others, of course. Remember when we were like at the Rose Hill Plantation, and we saw that erosion?
Oh yeah.
Land management, right?
Wow, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
And some places are obviously more affected than others, but that's definitely a thing. It's weird. Wow. It's spooky.
Yeah, that is wild to think about.
But like Kansas is sitting at like 3,000 feet of elevation. So if they, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird, right? Like they're not going to sink into the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like they've sucked so much water from the ground that they've lost feet of elevation.
It's so wild.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound very dumb.
So and that's science right there. Like so, I love scientific principles. I love space.
I'm glad you cut me off from saying what I was going to say.
Dude, I love physics, even though it's hard for me to electricity. These are all the things that I pride myself in my like, you know what I mean? Like I love these things. So it's not like I don't love them, but I hate the attitude that sometimes surrounds it. And it's like saturated with it sometimes.
Humans tend to focus so much on the negative anyway. We have to make an effort to focus on the positives. And I would almost equate like your view on science with kind of like the news cycle, where like you're constantly thinking about all the bad. Right. It's like, dude, pay attention to the good, and your view on science will change completely.
Right.
It depends on the areas you choose to focus on.
Yeah. Read the papers.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, like, really, if you like, I'm not going to go fucking read scientific papers, but if you really want to see what's going on in the world right now,
have you like I've had to do it for school.
Yeah, it's cool. I've done it.
Difficult.
It is hard.
I mean, I had to do a lot coming up.
You almost need to be like a lawyer of science or Canada.
Right. Yeah, I'm going in and out. I need to chill.
Yeah.
But man.
Yeah, just like it's so directional that as soon as you get even like an inch off or an inch away, it picks up completely differently.
This kind of goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about from last episode. It's like I was thinking about, we were talking about in Ohio, the Serpent Mound.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, like, what if they didn't point the head towards the sunset of the summer solstice?
Right.
At the date that it was built, but at a significant date, right? Like they're trying to tell us, like, this was a very significant point in time, and we're trying to mark it with this position, not like, because obviously, how long is that going to take to build? That's going to take hundreds of years to build.
I know, but the sun doesn't.
It would be, in 100 years, it would be very close.
Almost not noticeable.
Right, of course.
But I don't know. I don't think that they would. I think that there's many.
Like if they survived a meteor hit very close to where they were at.
Well, I think that if it was a way to document a different date than the day that it was constructed, I believe we've seen many, many examples of ancient structures that mark dates of significant days that are in better ways than pointing at where the sun would have sat in like a 2,000 year range.
But that's the way they did it. We're talking about Serpent Mound right now.
I know,
right?
but I'm saying, you're saying they could have potentially pointed it at when the sun, like, not where the sun was setting when it was built.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm saying
that what if they had such what if they were somehow able to understand that was such a significant event? Like, we're talking about people in Ohio, okay? When they built this, they were in Ohio. They built Serpent Mound, and a few thousand years earlier, probably about 6,000 years before I think they date that to about 6,000 years.
I don't think there's any way to properly date it.
Okay, but anyway, so about 12,000 years ago, apparently a comet hit North America in the ice cap. They were directly affected by that.
Yeah.
Directly. Like, basically 2 miles worth of water that had built up in an ice cap surrounding the entire northern hemisphere the half of the northern hemisphere was an ice cap.
Yeah.
That got hit by a fucking comet, and it started to melt. It melted on those people. It melted all over those people and create the modern rivers, the Mississippi and the Columbia. Like, all these rivers were created in the Great Lakes. They're all created by this event.
It didn't just start to melt. It melted instantaneously.
It vaporized.
Dude, it was immediate. It didn't just start to fucking melt. Like, a huge vicinity of that area was just all that ice immediately turned to either liquid water or water vapor.
Can you imagine the storms that preceded that?
Oh my gosh. That's wild. It's
all
wild.
All over the world.
But no, I think, back to Serpent Mound, I do think that scenario is possible. However, I think it's unlikely. Okay. I think the most likely thing is that they literally just pointed at the sun where it was setting when they made it. Because
probably. I mean, that's probably the highest percentage chance, right? But I'm really hoping that they're marking that. You know what I mean? Because like, that's so interesting though. Because they could they have built it at that point in time in that spot? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it even possible? That place is being fucking bombarded by hell.
Yeah. They would have built it after the survivors would have built it.
Right. So how could it have been built at that time? Oh, so it does mark back to that date because it's pointing.
Well, no, because
it's pointing back.
But there's a range because the Earth and the sun, the alignment as it moves is like that's a range. It's not like we're saying we live 100 years, but the sun's going to set in the exact same spot each summer solstice to our naked eye without seemingly. So there's hundreds of years that you wouldn't even notice the sun was moving slowly, and so I don't think that they would have, especially not after the cataclysm, after everything was destroyed and they had lost all the knowledge they had. Know.
You're just guessing.
I'm just guessing I don't think they would have had the capacity.
It's interesting
to calculate like after the cataclysm, but maybe pre-cataclysm, maybe. But
so what's the question is, what is the date that it's pointing at? Like,
I believe it's like 9,000 years ago.
9,000 years ago?
I could be totally wrong on that, dude.
Hey, we need to get somebody to look our shit up.
And also the range of the cataclysm, also it was a stretch of 1,000 years of bombardment. The first impact we believe happened in like 12,600 or something. And we were bombarded over and over and over again for the next 1,000 years.
Jesus.
And we go through that fucking torrid meteor stream twice a year.
There was people living in South Carolina when that happened, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Most likely.
Yeah. That's so crazy, man.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right, because Clovis does prove. I know like the 300,000.
At least 12,000.
Yeah, at least 12,000. I think 13 is the number of the top layer of the Clovis.
South Carolina would have been a sweet spot. We're way below the ice cap. It's a coastal, temperate environment. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Dude. No. I mean, but before the cataclysm.
That's what I'm saying.
But when it happened, dude, fucking balls of burning meteor were fucking raining down.
Maybe.
All the way down here.
It's probably got something to do with
it. That's the Carolina Bays.
Right.
We were like fucking chunks of shit that got thrown up from fucking the Great Lake area were hidden here with enough force to make fucking pines.
How can they know that, though?
I think the angles, because all of them
still disputed, but yeah,
that was Randall Carlson's best explanation was that they all,
I will say,
all the way up and down the coast, they angle and they move angularly to point all to the same exact spot. And that's as best we know.
This is a perfect example of how paper arrows start to get thrown, right? Because there's two camps to that, right? Some people think it was wind and water, right? Some people think it was just wind and water. And a lot of geologists from South Carolina will tell you it's wind and water. But there's this kind of new way of thinking about it that is like, hey, a comet hit and it basically diarrheaed all over our coastline. You know what I mean? Like, it's like what's going on here? Like, do we know what happened? Do we not? Like, is it wind and water? Like,
one of the biggest faults of the scientific community is the dogmatic practices that so many follow. For sure, without a doubt.
And look at these circular type areas where the water table is extremely low, like in Florida, right? These circular pools form, right? And it's all got to do with groundwater elevation. So water pools, and there's kind of like a swamp. Like it's like a low-lying area that never fully gets dry. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what these bays are. They're kind of impressions in the landscape. Yeah. So they get kind of like boggy, and they're always kind of swampy. So it's weird. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard for us to understand what's really going on there. And it definitely could have something to do with that comet. And I would love, 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 love to think that it does.
We never watched the summit.
We did not.
Damn.
We didn't. They 100% gave a lecture on that.
Oh, I know. I can't believe we didn't watch that.
Man.
Yeah.
But, dude, it's fucking amazing to think about that those are our ancestors, dude. Like, but to be real, I don't know how much our lineage is not connected to them in any way except space and time. Like, we're not related to them.
It's just like chimps.
By ancestry. You know, yeah, exactly. Like, It's weird to think about. Like just because we live in the South, I'm a native South Carolinian. So are they. But we're not necessarily connected by genetic lineage.
Man.
Except, I mean, we are, but it's separate somehow. It's weird. It's so weird to think about.
Well, I mean, we're Europeans.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is so weird to think about.
There
What
are
a fucking wild
there are
world we live
there
in,
are
man.
brothers, but we're separated by time and space because we enjoy the same place that they did.
Oh, that's I like that. I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like
it's
that.
weird.
Yeah,
Like we love the same rivers that they loved. We fish the same rivers that they fished.
brothers of the land.
Yeah.
Man,
They shot the same animals that we shoot.
oh,
Except we lost a lot of ours.
a lot of them.
We used to have elk and
A
shit.
lot of them.
We used to have elk and wolves and bison and fucking crazy shit. Oh my God. And they were probably all killed by that fucking comet. all of our megafauna, all of our fucking megafauna. We used to have giant fucking furry elephants walking around.
I wonder.
And they all got killed.
I wonder if we can connect how much like mass
They do.
Megafauna
They
connect
do.
to that.
This is straight from Randall Carlson's mouth. I'm going to say explicitly what. No, I'm just kidding. That's a paraphrase. But anyway, he basically said that the part of the population that suffers the most when something like that happens are the big animals. Right. The big animals, they suffer the most. So basically, they kind of gauge the total death of megafauna to severity of extinction event.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the more big
you.
animals that you lose at the top of the food chain,
Right.
That's
the dinosaurs, for instance.
Exactly. So like in like say for instance Africa, they retained like 90 or 80 something % of their megafauna, right? Like they have giraffes, they have elephants, they have huge buffaloes. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they have all these huge animals. We used to have huge animals here. Like they were very comparable to them, just kind of a little different. Right. But we lost. They're all dead.
Yeah, and then humans came and wiped out the rest of them.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Wild.
On to the next lovely uplifting topic.
I mean,
but to be honest, now we have more deer in the U.S. than we did back when Columbus was here, apparently.
Right.
I don't know how the fuck they could know that, but
dude, it's just like, how cool would it be if there was a real Jurassic Park?
No,
I mean,
fuck that idea.
I'm saying
we're gonna have to
just
call
if you
Chris
could visit
Pratt
that,
up real quick and get that motherfucker on the team.
If you could just
He
visit
seemed
that.
pretty good with those dinosaurs.
All right, or instead of a Jurassic Park, just time travel.
Yeah, that's a better option.
Dude, how
just
cool
like
would
transport
that be
into artificial
to
dinosaur land.
See what was going on, or any the people living here.
That's going to be a business.
20,000 years ago.
You know how people pay for escape rooms?
Oh, wow.
That stupid shit.
Oh wow!
It's like let's go do a puzzle. Let's go leave the house and do a puzzle. No, I'm just kidding. They're fun. I have fun doing them.
I've never done an escape room.
They're cool. They're cool.
I would only enjoy it if I was with everybody I know.
Some are better than others.
Like if they paired you up with two strangers.
It's funny because
that.
No, you go with friends, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like if you didn't have
But it's funny what it brings out of people because like some people are idiots, you know. They're just like 2 steps behind. They're like, "Oh, I just figured out what you guys figured out 5 minutes ago." You know what I mean? Like, and then there's the people that are like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like doing shit all over the place.
I think I would get overwhelmed and kind of just bogged down. Not be very productive.
The role that I usually find is letting the person who talks too much and guides too much guide, and then I'll add to what they say. That's usually the way I go.
How many escape rooms have you done?
I'm just now talking about life in general. I feel like
life is one big escape room.
Exactly. Trying to crawl out of the pit of life. Oh man, yeah. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Yeah, you had another topic you were about to segue into.
Already talked about that. Oh, okay. This is kind of funny. Like I was just this is a more eloquent way to say what I was saying about freedom is you can't make someone more free by taking someone else's freedom away. Like that's kind of, you know what I mean? That's kind of just the general thing that I was, or one of the general things that I was trying to talk about or elaborate.
Yeah, that's a heavy topic.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Just sit with that one. You can't. Yeah.
I've got one.
Go ahead.
I've started reading again recently, and I got a book, and I really like it, but just it was weird. I kind of had a realization that just the act of sitting down and reading text on a page kind of put my brain back into school mode again. It was really weird, but it kind of like, I love school, college. I've always loved school, like learning, but it was really strange to like have to really think about like pay attention to what I'm actually reading and comprehend. Like it just put my brain in a different mode, and it felt really good.
They say it keeps you young.
It felt really good.
They say like older people, like that's almost what all of them say. They say, "I read for fun." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but I got a book
that. Like to keep their mind fresh.
Yeah.
You know?
The book's called Wanting by Luke Burgess, I believe is the author. But it's about mimetic desire, which is basically the entire basis of the book is explaining that most people don't realize that, or don't really take time to think about why they want the things they want. And a huge part of culture is this mimicry of desire. We see things that other people want, and we latch onto that, and we want things because we see other people that have them. Or like, and this isn't just material, this is lifestyles, this is everything you could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of times,
kids, good food.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of times we don't realize that we might not truly be wanting something. We just want it because we've latched on to seeing somebody else. And I've realized already a lot of that within myself, just with how like, if I see something on YouTube that's cool, I want to buy it. Like even if I have no use for it whatsoever, or like a drone, I really want to get a drone because it'd be fucking awesome to fly a drone around and get some footage. But then I'm like, wait, do I really want a drone? I don't even make videos like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, why would I drop $400 on a drone when I'm not even going to use it? Like, I realized that within myself.
They hijack your freedom.
So
that's one of those hijacking your freedom type things.
So like, and what he was pointing out in I'm just through the first chapter, but what he's pointing out is nowadays with social media, there are more influencers to what we desire. Because typically back in the day, a lot of what people, just regular people, would latch on to would be just things in their community, or, you know, figureheads in the community, or like characters in books and stuff like that. They would read, and then they would develop certain desires based on what they saw other people having and wanting and read. But nowadays, we have social media. So, and he uses the term models as the people who kind of model what desire we might latch on to. And now with social media, there's more models than ever before. Every single person has the potential to influence every single other person's desires. And I don't know, it's just a really, really thought-provoking book. And it seems to me that it reigns true a lot. And I believe it's from a lot of the research of Rene Girard. Is not philosopher, he was a professor.
Holy shit.
And he read, I believe it was like, he was moved, I think he's French, he moved to the U.S. to teach, and one of his literature classes, he had to read like 5 novels and teach about the novels. And apparently he just realized there was a connection that in all of these novels, the desire of the main character was given to them by another character. It was rarely that the main character of the novel chose to go on an adventure or do what they wanted to do just because of an internal desire. It was almost always they were given a quest, or they were kind of influenced to go on the adventure by the people surrounding them. And he noticed that, and that began this whole research on the philosophy of mimetic desire.
Do you think that's because we look for something greater than ourselves, like intuitively, like, or naturally? I'm
not sure.
Gravitate towards things that
I think it comes from human nature.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Because back when we were
human
a
nature.
tribe and all your only influences were the people directly in your community, if you're living in teepees and you're all hunting together in your community, it's really, really beneficial to the community if everybody wants the same thing. So I feel like that had to have been ingrained in us in that type of way, because with those patterns of everybody wanting the same thing,
Right.
when survival is what everybody wants,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. And I
Like-
believe that kind of became an instinct.
Is it the same fundamental thing that ants do? Like, is it the same thing, or is it something
I
different?
think it's something different. I don't think the hive mind is the right way to describe it. But I mean, even like primates, the great apes, when they have tribes and they have communities, and they also want the same things, and all of the subordinates have to want what the alpha wants, because the alpha's in charge, and the alpha's going to be leading attacks on other community of apes and stuff like that, and they all need to survive. So it's very beneficial to the community if everybody is on the same page and wants the same thing. And maybe that just kind of was a evolutionary trait to where when we saw somebody else in our community wanting something, we also kind of
I think
sparked
that
something
makes us better than the chimps, because they're less unified, right? Like, they're kind of like less organized. Like,
well, of course,
you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
we're better at that. There's something in us, but
now that we have so much freedom and it's survival, like Maslow's, the hierarchy of needs,
right?
After food and shelter, it's pretty much just desire. I believe the one above shelter is love. So you go from necessity to desire very quickly.
Self-esteem is in there.
Yeah, it's
self-esteem is like after food and
it's
shelter.
food, shelter, love, self-esteem, and then self-actualization.
Okay,
I believe
that sounds right.
Don't quote me on that.
I think there's 5 steps.
But so this author's point is that these desires, like the hierarchy of needs, is a misnomer, because only the bottom 2 are needs. You could easily argue that love, self-esteem, and self-actualization are just desires.
They're not needs, and in fact, I'd probably argue that a lot of people in this world go through life without them. So it's probably a flawed way of thinking.
Exactly. And he was just kind of saying, like, with the freedom we have nowadays, where pretty much everything's taken care of, you still got to work and pay your bills and do all that. But we are, we don't really have to work to survive anymore. So we've fallen into this trap of material desires and seeing everybody else and keeping up with the Joneses, and I want what he has and she wants what I have, and y'all took a vacation to the mountains. I want to go to the mountains.
Have you seen
That'd be
LeBron's
fucking
new
awesome.
shoes, dude? I'm just kidding. Dude, I think we grossly underestimate ants. You know what I mean? Like, dude, they have more biomass on Earth than humans do.
Yeah.
And you will never win a fight with an anthill.
We've covered this.
Dude, I'm just saying. I
just think it's funny
I'm
that
obsessed with ants.
I feel like I'm going on this deep philosophical adventure of why humans desire the things we desire, and you're like, ants are cool.
Oh my god, dude.
It's just funny.
No, but yeah, no, you're totally right, man. I think it's so crazy. So wild.
Yeah.
I totally concede that point that everything I desire.
Like, why did we start a podcast?
Right.
We saw other people podcasting.
It seems awesome.
Looks fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like, literally everything. Why do I want to be a musician?
Why do I want to fish?
I mean, and then you can separate. I want to make music, I believe, because it feels good intrinsically.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thrive off of my music because I see other people doing it, and I'm jealous.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, I think I can totally see that within myself. I feel like already, being introspective, I'm starting to be able to separate some of the things that may be intrinsic and internal desires versus external influences.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I would suggest the book. It's Wanting by Luke Burgess.
That is a really interesting talent that, yeah, you're right. That you have to pay attention to that.
Very thought-provoking.
Huh.
And, most people never take the time to consider that. Most people never take the time to consider that. And but first of all, I will say, I believe this guy's like a billionaire.
And that directly applies to creative output.
Right. But the thing that sparked this is he was making, not at the time, like he was actually kind of, he's, let me gather my words. He had a startup company that was about to be bought out by Zappos. And
Zappos is what?
Like the shoe.
Oh, yeah.
They sell shoes online, clothes online, I don't know. He was about to be bought out by Zappos for like, a few million. It might have been a few $100 million. I can't even remember. But the deal, it was in 2008. And he basically got the yes that he was going to be bought out by Zappos and had the meeting and everything was confirmed. Like a week later, he got a call and they said, and he was stressing because his company, he knew that he was running quickly towards bankruptcy, that he was stretching his money out. He said within 6 months his company would have went bankrupt. So he was really, really, really relying on this buyout. And because it was 2008 and it was in the middle of everything going on, like a week later they called and they said we're putting a hold on our company. Like we're not going through with the buyout because we can't afford to risk that right now with the economy. So it threw him into like a fucking depression. And it was wild, but like the reason that he began to think in this way was because he was questioning why in the beginning he was so fired up about starting a company and having a startup and doing all this. And then once it got successful, he petered out. He was like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. He was like, each day, it got to the point where each day I went to the office, I was dreading it more and more.
Why do you work?
Yeah, it's like, what
is the end that you want?
Right, exactly. And then he went.
Because if it's to be lazy, then that probably isn't going to work out.
Yeah, and then he went and spoke with some other billionaire. I forget the entire storyline of but this other billionaire was a direct student of Rene Girard. I think it was Peter Thiel. I don't know. And he was exploring the same thing because he's like, I have everything, but why am I not happy? And that focusing on mimetic desire was one of the first things that kind of gave him a breakthrough. I don't know. I just think it's a really wonderful, thought-provoking idea. I feel like everybody needs to be exposed to that.
Wow. Yeah, how do you tell the difference? Like, how do you tell the difference between external and internal motivation? That's super difficult.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I would highly suggest picking up the book.
I mean, what does he give tips on that? Like, does he?
So he gives a layout. He's like the first chapter, or the first, it's split into two halves. The first cycle, I think is what he calls it, is basically the breaking down of what this is and explaining what it is, and then the second cycle is building back up out of it. And he was like, it's difficult. He was like, it's been difficult for everybody I've talked to who really truly delved into this idea, because basically you're having to break down your entire history of what you've ever wanted.
Wow. I need to write that down because I need to think more about that. Like just trying to differentiate between what my external and internal motivations are.
I mean, you just wrote it down on the podcast.
Yeah, but I won't remember it because I need to write it down. I need to write about it. You know what I mean? I need to.
Yeah.
It really helps when I write things down.
You should get that book or get the audio book or something. It is.
What is the name of it?
Wanting.
Yeah.
By Luke Burgess. Let me check because I've said that like 3 times. Yeah, highly, highly suggest that book. Really, really good. And I'm only in the first chapter, but it's already opened my eyes a lot. Really, really interesting. But I don't know. Move on. I've talked all about that as I can.
Man, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's back to ants.
Sure. Now we can talk about.
I think my fixation with ants is like. is rooted in my childhood experience with them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Isn't that weird how like these super impactful things as a child like will persist into adulthood as fixations?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's weird.
It is very strange.
Like, I had a super traumatic experience with ants, and now I'm like, oh my God, ants rule the world.
Or like,
I'm just kidding.
A lot of people who get bitten by sharks become marine scientists.
Really?
A lot of them. I mean, I don't know about a lot.
If I get bit by the shark,
but there are
shark, dude, I'd be like, fuck the ocean.
There are people.
Fuck the ocean.
I just remember seeing it on Shark Week where there was a couple like marine biologists who literally had a shark attack and then became obsessed with the animal.
Yeah, I watched this documentary. I started to watch this documentary on Nat Geo. It was about these two lovers in France that were obsessed with volcanoes, and it was super romantic. You know, it had this like French like touch. You know what I mean? And it was like telling the story of their love for volcanoes, and it was like showing images of them like hanging around volcanoes and like wearing metal suits and like getting real close to explosions and it was like, Jesus Christ.
And
like,
did they die?
You know where this is going.
I mean, hey, that's probably the best way to go out if you love it that much.
Fuck that, man.
But no,
that would be a terrible way to die.
Okay, I'm not saying it's a fun way to die, but I'm saying you're doing what your favorite thing to do on earth is. You're with your best friend and lover.
Your lover, yeah.
Doing what you love to do more than anything else. You're experiencing the beauty of this world. I mean, that's a hard. I don't want to get fucking blown up by a volcano. But that's kind of beautiful in a way.
Yeah, they were talking about like we've decided not to have children, so we don't really have sex because we're scared. We don't want to get pregnant, and because we don't want something to happen to us.
These people were crazy.
It was wild.
These people were crazy.
It was wild, dude.
You just stayed abstinent because you didn't want kids. What's up with that? There's so many options.
Not then, dude. This was back in the day.
Oh, I thought you meant like kind of modern.
I mean, it was like post video.
I just pull out, dude.
Dude, these people were intense about volcanoes, dude. They were watching eruptions all over the place. They were good. They had their bases covered for the fucking coming, dude.
Wasn't no eruptions in the bedroom.
What if they just sat around fucking diddling themselves at the volcanoes? They were getting so close to volcanoes. Dude, they were just fucking...
They were just orgasm. Oh, my God. That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Oh, my
Again,
God.
what better way to go out?
Holy shit. What if they climaxed as they... Oh, my Jesus. These people are geniuses. These people are the new Buddha.
They did it right. They did it right.
Fuck.
I mean...
Same thing with sharks, dude. You just got people just in the seawater, just fucking. Oh God, he's right there. He's right fucking there.
I don't know about that. I think that's a little.
I'm sorry. Everyone, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just ignore.
Just like
the last 30, 40 seconds.
That's hilarious. I love that. That's funny.
That was so stupid.
That could be a joke. That could be a bit.
You
really have to figure out the setup on that one, but that's funny. That's a good. Yeah.
All right. Dying while ejaculating.
And then in parentheses, the volcano couple. That's funny. That's fucking funny, man.
Oh my God!
And nobody's gonna feel bad about laughing at it. They did it themselves. It was fully voluntary.
We're so far removed from it at this point.
It's hilarious.
You know what I mean? Like,
that is.
It's so weird. Now, see, I wonder what happened in their childhood where they were like, "I love fucking volcanoes."
I love volcanoes.
It's weird. Like, what happened?
I love fucking volcanoes.
Oh my God!
He's up there with his dick in the dirt.
Oh Jesus Christ! That's so stupid. That's so funny, dude. But what if this has happened? This is like you know what I mean? Like if we're gonna believe that we live in an infinite existence, that's happened.
What?
That in which we have described.
Yeah.
Explicitly. Oh my God. So crazy.
But honestly, that is beautiful.
That's so wild. Yeah. I wonder if they believed in God.
No, what would make it very much not beautiful? What if they were like, their relationship was like on the ropes, and they weren't really sure if they wanted to stay with each other. Then they went out like that. But no, I choose to believe that they were madly in love, and they had found the perfect soul.
Oh my God.
Soulmate for each other, and they went out doing what they love.
Maybe I should finish the documentary. I got like 20 minutes in, and I was like,
You're like me talking about that book when I'm a chapter in.
oh my God. That's so funny, dude. Our inability to finish anything.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to finish stuff.
Yeah, I'm not good at
Except
finishing things.
I couldn't finish that documentary though.
The only time I'm able to finish things is if I put a deadline on it.
Right.
None of my albums would have ever been dropped if I didn't set a release date before they were finished.
That's a great point.
Yeah. But that's true with a huge percentage of artists. Well, I mean, we're perfectionists. Most artists don't ever feel like their work is done.
For sure. I mean, it never really is, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even consider myself like a true artist.
Same with science.
Yeah, you are a scientist to science, as I am an artist to art. Like our levels are probably kind of comparable. Like I wouldn't consider myself a true artist because there are some wild minds out there coming up with some really, really amazing concepts and ideas
like
that they're
truly
expressing through art.
Thoughts that haven't been thought.
Yes, and I'm not doing any of that. I'm not even getting close to that.
Right. That's magic. Having thoughts that no one else has had is truly magic.
I think I'd say I'm more of a creative than an artist.
Recognize, and that goes right back to what you're talking about. Recognizing what is internal as opposed to what is external, right? That's kind of a similar thing, is like having a novel thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something that comes from way, way down deep out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's what I want to really start focusing on, because my lyrics have rarely been super thought-provoking and been very deep thoughts.
I would disagree. You're more on the metaphysical side than a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not...
Like building on sandcastles like that. I mean, it has been thought before, but it's like a fundamental thought worth revisiting that you did in a unique way. You know what I'm saying?
That was a challenge.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think that was like, yeah, that's something that like we all like. Yeah, that's really an intense concept that you came at a unique and but fundamental way.
I'm hoping the next one's going to be very introspective. I want it to be titled Lucid. And I want it to be about me, like the whole transition period I'm going through and trying to become more mindful of what, my surroundings and my own thoughts.
Yeah, but fuck that. Just jump into the ape feelings. Fuck that, dude.
Well, there's a balance.
Right.
There's always a balance.
I need to work out viciously. I need to get out of my head and into my body. Like, I'm so tired of being my head is so chunky with thoughts. It's just like, you know what I mean? I just need to
cacophony.
I need to bring it to baseline. Like, can you breathe right now type shit. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I need to get to where I'm fearful for my life.
Yeah. I need to get back on the bike. Because I can get there riding for sure, dude.
If I'm there with the kettlebell. If I push the kettlebell hard, I'll get to a point where I'm like whoa.
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot harder.
Fuck.
It's a lot harder for me to get to that level with just a weight workout. But when I'm on the bike, I enjoy it so much that I can push and push and push because I love it and I want to get that trick. Or like if I got an empty skate park and I can just circle the skate park and just random hop up, do little bumps on random shit, but I'm just literally constantly going. Dude, I'm gassed by the end of that. Gassed. And it feels so good.
Running is the best one for me. Running is the one where I'm like, because I can sustain it for long enough that it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I run, I try to run for my muscles. Like I do full gaits. Like I'm trying to run.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this jog. I would rather run harder for shorter. Even so, I try to sustain it, right? I try to get up to that point and hold it.
Yeah.
Of where I'm not sprinting, but I'm covering ground. I'm not doing no pitiful jog for 2 hours. I'm going for 5 minutes as hard as I can, kind of.
Right.
So it's that's the best. That's kind of the best where I'm I really start to hum, and I'm
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's something primally satisfying about sprinting.
It's so deep down. Jackson.
It's so odd.
I don't tell Jackson to run.
Dude, he goes.
That motherfucker takes laps around the house for fun. He's like, oh, it's morning time. bet. I'm about to get my laps in. I'm about to do my 10-minute run, bitch. What y'all doing? I've already done
that's so interesting.
You know what I mean?
It's so wild how much we've corrupted our own bodies just through technology. But weird, I mean, again, back to, it's all a balance. Like
my posture sucks. My posture sucks because of my life. It's like, damn, I don't want to get hip and knee replacements and have to get disc surgery and all that. I don't want to have to do that.
Me either. That's where just the diet comes in.
And maintenance, general mobility and strength.
Stretching.
It seems to be that mobility and strength are the two.
Moving weights.
Yeah.
As far as posture, that's why I'm pretty thankful I work right now, standing up on my feet.
At least in terms of longevity.
Yeah.
Like mobility and strength are.
For sure. And like the biggest thing that I feel like most people don't have any capacity for is like the little stabilizer muscles.
Right. And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like most people, if you put them on a skateboard, probably could barely stand on it.
Right. It's weird. And you have to get into those, like when we go into the gym, we're doing these like this, like, you know what I mean? These like very specific motions. Yeah. Like that, it stables big muscle groups. It targets big muscle groups. But it's not like when you go on a hike and you use literally every muscle in your foot and leg.
Right.
Because you didn't step the same once when you were on that hike. Right? If he's hiking in the mountains, I'm thinking about hiking like Table Rock or Pinnacle or whatever,
It's the same thing like riding a bike. I mean,
exactly.
It's less of a thing just if you're like a cyclist and you're just pedaling, but with BMX, jumping around, the balance, I feel it.
It's not like you're jacking your biceps. It's not like you're going to go and spend 30 minutes on your biceps. It's like you're going and spending time on your entire body weirdly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's why I love biking.
Biking, like think about biking, running, hiking.
But even hiking, running, there's not much arms.
That's a good point.
There's a lot of core. You get good core going, maybe a little bit of your back. But
I've been spending a lot of time on the chin up bar lately.
Oh yeah, I need to get one. But like on the BMX, you're lifting with your arms. It is truly a full body workout, and it's cardio. I love it.
I don't fuck with the door units. I've been using I take Jackson to the park all the time.
Yeah.
So I'll use the big bar. You can really, because you want to get your body into it. You don't want to have to pull your knees up.
Yeah.
You want to be able to really use your body and core.
What I want to get into,
and the door is hard because you don't have a lot of space.
Yeah. No, what I want to get into for a nice little workout is like a heavy bag. I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be a really fun way to work out.
Like just throw some punches?
Throw some punches, get out some aggression, get out from your frustration from work.
Dude, Jackson loves this. This is so fun. I'll put him on the swing because he loves the swing. But when he's on the swing, I'll step and box him up from the outside, and I'll move in and move out, and I'll move with the swing, and I'll dance around him, and I'll bah, jab, 1, 1, 2. You know what I mean? And he'll be like, ah, you know what I mean? He's just loving it, and I'll be like, damn, I just felt on my fucking ear, what the fuck's going? I get this weird pain when I really physically exert myself. Right in the middle of my ear. The first time I felt it, it felt like somebody shot me with a fucking BB gun. I was running. I can tell you exactly the first time I experienced it. And it always happens in my right ear. maybe somebody else's has happened to. But I was running. I was training for a half marathon, right? And I was about 25 minutes into running those hills at the park in Union.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foster Park. And I was running up the hill on the main road. That is
Lakeside Drive? No.
Arthur Boulevard.
Yeah.
Arthur Boulevard. I'm pretty sure.
That doesn't matter.
Anyway, I was running up Arthur Boulevard with my ear on the right side.
By the tennis courts.
The road on my right side, exactly. The tennis courts were on my left.
Yeah.
So I thought I thought a car passed and it kicked up a thing and hit me in the ear or something. It was that weird. It felt like I said, somebody shot me with a BB gun or something.
That's so strange.
But it was weird as fuck. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And I realized I wasn't bleeding, nothing had hit me. And now when I get into vigorous exercise, it happens.
Yeah. That's so strange.
It's like a nerve thing or something. It's
I don't know.
super weird.
That's really weird.
It's super weird.
I wonder if it would have to do with pressure. Maybe it's something about blood flow up there.
idea.
Once your heart rate gets that high, maybe it builds up to a certain pressure.
It's weird because it feels like it's on the surface of my skin.
What
like
happens,
right on the surface of my skin.
That's weird. What happens to me when I really, really break a hard sweat, my skin stings.
Oh, yeah.
Like all over, my skin stings.
Yeah, when that sweat's starting to come out. Yeah.
No, like I'm talking like if I'm riding my bike, say I ride for an hour, 30 minutes in, I'm drenched. I'm not in pain. If I keep going for another 30 minutes, my skin starts to literally sting.
Right.
Like I've got like a shirt full of like prickly needles on.
Well, I think
it's so weird.
Your body is not like a solid thing. Your skin's not a solid thing.
Right.
There's all these like cuts and pores and openings. So when you start sweating and it's salty and it's running and it's on your back, it's almost like getting salt on a wound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like that.
I don't know how common that is because I've never heard anybody else describe that.
No, I definitely can identify with that sensation. But the ear one's a weird one for me. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, that's strange.
It seems to be like intense exercise does it to me.
My ears can get like where they feel like they need to pop sometimes if I've been exercising like really vigorously. So that again makes me wonder if it is like a pressure thing.
Maybe so. Could be. It could be.
Maybe just the excessive blood flow and the high heart rate just builds up like pressure in a blood vessel up there or something.
Super weird. Some doctor tell me what the fuck is up. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we've made it an hour. You want to keep going, or you want to close it out? I feel like this has been a good episode.
We've covered a lot.
Yeah, and thoughts and prayers to the lovely people of Maui.
Jesus Christ, man.
We love you guys. Shit.
God bless.
Another one in the books. Thank you for listening.
Stay tuned. See you next week, motherfuckers. Keep it real.
And again, if the audio quality was a little harsh, I apologize. I'll get these things dialed in.
It'll probably sound good.
I think there were a couple times we got a little poppy and loud, but
yeah. Peace out, motherfuckers. Oh, jeez, dude.
That one, I like that one. That one was good.
We've been doing work, dude. We keep getting deeper. We keep getting better.